Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today I want to talk about a question that really doesn't get asked that often because it's just assumed that it's never true. And that is, when is one specific airline point better than 2 points with a transferable currency? Is that ever the case? Well, I think that it is. And so if you would, hit the like and subscribe button and let's look at it together. The general wisdom in the points and miles community says that it's a lot better to rack up transferable currencies than any type of points with a specific airline or hotel program or anything like that. And generally, I can see the point. In fact, I've racked up a lot of transferable points in many different ways over the course of the last several years, through sign-up bonuses and through daily spending. But when people say that, the reason is they want to talk about things like flexibility. And there's an argument to be made for that. You know, you can store them with American Express or Chase or Citi or Capital One or wherever. And then when you need them, you can transfer them to the right program. So wouldn't that always be better? I mean, when you're looking at your cent per point redemption value, oftentimes you can pick partners and specific flights that are going to give you a great outsized value. But I think there's a case to be made for certain point currencies that actually, if you just use the specific card, and primarily, and this may work with Hyatt too, but primarily I'm talking about airline programs, that those points actually, I think, could be worth more, even if it's just at 1 point per dollar on general spending, than other transferable currencies that can be earned with things like the Venture X card or the Blue Business Plus or the Citi Double Cash, or some people just are satisfied with earning 1.5 on their Chase Freedom Unlimited. So is there ever times when just earning an airline point with an airline credit card is better? Well, I think it is with 2 specific programs. The first is American Airlines, and the second is Alaska Airlines. Now, American has a whole host of cards with which you can earn points. Some of them have better multipliers in certain ways than others do. Like, for instance, the executive card, I have that card. If you're buying American flights, it's 4 points per dollar. And American points are very valuable, so that's a really great multiplier. If you're, buying gas or some of those other categories, dining, I think, you can use the Platinum card and you can get 2 points per dollar. But generally, most of these cards on most categories are just going to earn you 1. Now, the Alaska card does earn 2 on gas and a few other categories, but for the most part, we're just talking about for general spending. So when you're making all those purchases that don't fall into another category and they're just kind of your catch-all purchases, why would you ever want 1 point with an airline specifically than to get 2 American Express points or 2 Capital One or whatever it may be? And I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement on this, but here's the thing. There are just 3 reasons why I think sometimes this makes perfect sense. At least I have found for me it does. It may not work for everybody. You might not ever fly Alaska or American or use their partners or any of that, so it may not work for you. Or you may still think that you can milk more value out of those transferable currencies than you could out of this. But at least hear me out on it. First of all, American and Alaska points are hard to get. In other words, they don't really have banks that transfer to them. Now with Alaska, you do have Bilt. And when I'm telling you, I'm going to slam that when they finally come out with mortgages and you can get points on your mortgage. I already use that card on the first day of the month to get 6 points per dollar on dining. I go around to all the restaurants we like to eat at and I buy gift cards and I try to maximize that as much as I can because I can transfer those over to Alaska. But American doesn't have anybody who transfers over to them. So the only way you can get American points is through their shopping portal or through their hotel platform, which by the way is great. I use it all the time because with the executive card for Citi, you get 10 American miles per dollar on purchases through that. Plus they give bonus points and LPs, which is their metric for earning status. So you can get them that way, and you get them through spending on the credit card. So what are each of their points worth? Well, by my estimation, since I only use them for business and first class trips, Alaska points are worth over 7 cents a point, and American miles are worth over 6 cents a point. So those are very valuable. But the other thing is they're very flexible. They both have lots and lots of award space available on lots and lots of partners. And yes, you can get better value with something like transferring to Virgin or sometimes British Airways, sometimes on occasion with Air France with the transferable currencies. But man, you're searching for those things and they come around once every blue moon sometimes. But with American, I mean, I find great redemptions all the time, even last minute. I mean, 60,000 points to Europe last minute in business class. I mean, it's just not uncommon. It's 40,000 points to fly Q suites from the Middle East to Europe. I mean, that's just pretty common. I actually think it's 42,000, but still, it's super, super good deal. And with Alaska, I mean, pretty consistently 40, 50, 60,000 points for business class. And there's just lots of availability, which has to be factored in. So you've got points that are worth a lot. They have a lot of availability, and they're points that are hard to get in any other way. So the primary way to get them is to spend on the card. And as I said, they have a high cent per point value. These are not Delta Sky miles that are worth, if you're lucky, 1.5 cents a piece, but generally 1.2 to 1.4. I mean, Delta's hard to get good redemption value. With American and Alaska, even on domestic travel, I often get over 3 cents per point in value. So across the board, those two currencies are just worth a lot. They are. And you can't get them easily. You can't transfer them from anybody. Believe me, I wouldn't spend on an American card or on an Alaska card if I could just spend on American Express or get the sign-up bonus and just transfer them over. I mean, that's a big part of this equation. Really, really good value points that are hard to get any other way. And the last thing about it is that you also get some kind of extra incentives, especially if you're searching after and chasing status with an airline. This is true both with Alaska and American. Now, I'm just new to the Alaska thing, and I'm probably not going to seek out their status because I have status on American. I know how to get that, and some of it transfers over to Alaska when I fly them, and definitely to One World Airlines. So that either one of them, though, if you spend on their cards, you can reach status. That does have some value for people that matters to. Now, for a lot of people, they're never going to reach that. They don't care. They're just going to use the miles. Okay, this one's kind of not applicable in that situation. But if you are a person who's trying to get to status or to reach the next level of status, it is a quantifiable value to be able to get that with American, that one extra loyalty point per dollar spent. Because, yeah, I mean, you'd have to spend $40,000 if all you did was use the card to get to status. But the way their system works is if you're doing things like using the hotel portal and using the shopping portal, and then you get to a certain threshold, then they start giving a bonus on those extra LPs. It becomes easier. The more you get, the easier it is to get more and get to the next level. And the cards can help with that immensely. For instance, the American Airlines executive card, once you hit 50,000 points, loyalty points, and it doesn't have to be reached through card spend in any way, by flying or with the hotel portal or with shopping portal, whatever it is, dining, gas at Shell gas stations, all sorts of ways. Once you hit 50,000, you get an extra 10,000. That helps you. Once you hit 90,000, you get an extra 10,000. that helps you. And when I talk about quantifiable value, it's not just getting to the next level of status. Sometimes there are markers, there are points at which you get extra stuff. So for instance, with American, once you hit 125,000, you're Platinum Pro. But before you get to the 200,000, which gets you to Executive Platinum, there's a 175,000 point tier where you get some cool perks that have real value. Things like extra miles, extra loyalty points. But the one that's really awesome is you get regional or global upgrade certificates where you get to upgrade your flights to a business class flight. That is real value. How much is that worth? Is it worth $200, $500, $1,000? Well, it's value. And so to me, that has to be factored in to the fact that if you're using these cards, then you're getting some extra value on top of the points if you're a person who's chasing after some status or trying to reach the next level or reach some of those milestones. Well, let me know what you think about this. Do you value those miles that highly? Well, for me, I do, and I'm kind of shifting my strategy to, on my general spend, using my Alaska and using my American cards, just so that I can have those extremely difficult to earn, but extremely valuable points to use for great outsized value. Let me know what you think. If you would, consider the channel membership. It's just $2.99 a month. I have a Discord so we can converse. You can ask questions. We can have dialogue. I also put out members-only videos. You can cancel anytime. Look at that in the description below. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you here next time.